TV News, expanding your view.
We welcome you again to Core Digest, and this segment we are still discussing all eyes on Ekiti, the day before the elections. Yes, as we said at the beginning of the program, 18 candidates vying for that very exalted office of the governorship, and the governorship elections takes place tomorrow. Well, today we're not allowed to campaign, we're not allowed to say all those things that will seem like we're talking or slamming the other. We're talking about 18 people here, and all of them wants to be that first candidate to be called, yes, Mr. Excellency Abi. We still have our guests, CHUKA NNABUIFE and Tubosun Ihonso, political analyst. Gentlemen, you're still very much with us. Tubosun, let's look at the way political parties prepare their candidates for elections. Here in Ekiti, 18 candidates we know are gunning for the office, but hardly, some of them we don't hear about, some of them are there. But do political parties really prepare their candidates and go out to make known this personality as a credible person, somebody to look forward to vote for?
Well, ideally, the party should be above the candidate. How do I mean? The process or processes that throw up a particular candidate, as a candidate of a political party, must have been manned by the political party's structure, in-house party structure, to the extent that it is a party that will actually chart the roadmap for the campaign of that particular candidate, vis-a-vis the election the candidate may be vying for. But in our own climate here, we have candidates at times that lord over their parties. Candidates that actually float the parties. And I want to draw your attention to what happened in Ogun State in the build-up to the 2011 election. I'm talking of the PPN, People's Party of Nigeria. Do you know that party was actually the property of the governor then, Otumba Daniel. There was nothing on ground to show that that party had a life of its own outside of the governor then. It was the governor then that used the apparatus of the state, not wanting to follow whatever program and agenda the People's Democratic Party had issues with some leaders of the PDP then. So he had to leave the PDP, and of course he wanted to show that he was a political heavyweight as far as Ogun State is concerned. So he had to float PPN. And after the election, PPN fizzled out, because without Otumba Daniel, there would have been no PPN. So I want, in trying to bring that to Ekiti, realize, of course, for instance, there are some of these political parties that, of course, needed some candidates to revive them, because those candidates were personalities that were well known. So without those candidates, without those parties using candidates, those parties would not have been known. For instance, they are, a particular political party, not among the three leading frontliners. Of course, not relatively known or unknown, Ekiti State as far as but because of a particular individual, that party now came to the front burner. So what I'm saying in essence is that personalities are greater in our own climate, in our own part of the world. Personalities are greater than political parties, and that is not what an ideal democracy should be, because the party should outlive the individual. But in our own climate here, we have individuals outliving the parties. Individuals living some political parties, and the political parties are nothing to write about again. Having said that, I still believe that 1, 2, 3 political parties are still on ground, whether they present that particular political candidate they are presenting now or not. Those parties have a life of their own outside those individuals. Those parties will still outlive even those individuals, and there are other personalities within those parties that can still be reckoned with, that can still make that party what it should be. At the end of the day, what I'm saying in essence is that there are some of these parties that, of course, are nothing. They know that they have nothing to achieve at the end of the day this election. These are people that at the end of the day you will realize them after a particular candidate will have won the election, they will go and pay solidarity visit because of they will be angling themselves for appointments, maybe board appointment or as commissioners. We always have cases like that. People who know they will never get anything at the end of the day, but because they are using it to kind of put themselves forward for possible for position of appointment as this or that. We always have them. You know, they come on board. They are trying to use it to lobby to get some appointments after a particular candidate or a particular political party will have won that election. So out of these 18 that we are talking about, we know majority of them are unserious. Majority of them are not. They know, of course, that they cannot really, you know, win this election, but they want to use it to negotiate or bargain for political appointment after a particular candidate or a particular political party will have won the election.
I want us to go back to the issue of security we were discussing before the break. Talking about the stopping, like Sheyi mentioned earlier, preventing governors, stakeholders from participating in the rally yesterday, the mega rally, which was supposed to be the final one. And with the views we have of security agents, because we do not have state police, so every security agent is under the federal government. I want to have your opinion on the involvement of the presidency, because when we talk about the federal government, when we talk about orders from above, as it has been alleged by the spokespersons of Governor Rotimi Amechi and of Governor of Edo State, that is Adams Oshomole, how involved should the presidency be or the federal government in the electioneering process of individual states?
You see, in everything about showmanship, or everything about performance, there's the cross of the matter, and there is the stunt. Do you understand? And you asked me a question initially when we started this program at the first phase, as regards when I broke it down that there are three things you must do in election period. You must know the timetable. When I said that the INEC releases the timetable, you must know the laws and know the timetable when an activity should come in and know what the law says. Now, what you said, I will appraise it from those two angles. The angle of the role stunt plays. A stunt emphasizes an action. It makes an action elaborate, and it comes at auspicious time to make you either appreciate it more. For example, if you want to start this program and you want to read the news and you ring a bell, I know I'm in a TV station, but because, for example, CNN is out and you see Richard Quest comes with a bell when it's talking about the stock market, it is more like giving emphasis on that information. Or when you watch a legislature and the speaker or whoever drops the gavel, or the auctioneer. It is just to draw more attention to it. And when you have a timetable stipulates where to act, and that is what the law says. What you said is, as everybody should have freedom of association, freedom of movement, but that is according to what the law states. Freedom of movement according to how the law defines freedom of movement. Freedom of association according to how the law defines freedom of association. There was an election in Anambra State, and you had the same case involving the governor of Osun State, a similar case involving the governor of Osun State and the former minister of Federal Capital Territory, Rufai, and others, involving the same party. There was a similar situation in the build-up to the election in not Rivers State, in Edo State. There is also a similar situation now in Ekiti State. I can't tell you for sure that there won't be a similar situation in the build-up to Osun State election. It is much like the stunt, playing a stunt, breaking a gavel. Why do you use this? It's also a gimmick about, like what I told you, if you give holes for you to plug into in the aftermath of election, in case it goes either left or right for you. Do you understand? It's moral suasion. It's a way of campaigning and putting yourself within the picture of the people's mind. Moral suasion, that's what you call it in communication, in social mobilization. Playing to the fantasy, playing to the emotion of the people. They are persecuting us. You understand? And you begin to say, is it legitimate? Yes, it's legitimate. I can play my politics the way I want. But where it will be wrong is if you who are appreciating it now buys the emotion. You as the appraiser, now maybe in the media or whatever, they are free to do what they do. They can move. But the security agents are also free to work within the law. Then now the question you have to ask, we in the media as analysts, as appraisers of policy, as we are presented to be. Now you go and look into INEC calendar, which is what I say is very important. The calendar that you have for election, does this fall within what the law permits within a given time? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't fall, then they are playing in error. They are just dropping the gavel. They are just ringing a bell. If it falls, if it's against the law, then you say the security people are doing what they are supposed to do. But for now, the whole attempt of it is to push it to the motive, push it to the mind of the psychology, play on the psychology of the voters. They are persecuting us. Do you understand? That is how I want to appraise that.
I would ask you the same question, Mr. Tubosun Aihosu. How involved should the position of the presidency be in any state election, considering the fact the security agencies work for the federal government and states doesn't necessarily have authority? When I say authority, states, police and all of that. And Mr. CHUKA just said that playing to the emotions of the people, left for the people to either buy or not buy. As at yesterday, it was still good to have rallies, and that was why the rally was allowed to go. That was why it was mega, matter of fact. So why were these people stopped? Was it because it wasn't right for them to do, or the involvement of someone at the center?
Well, like Mr. CHUKA said, you're just trying to play to the gallery. Because that's the way I see it. Now, why are we bringing in the president?
Presidency.
Yes, the presidency. Now, troops are involved. Troops stopped.
You have 18 parties. So, if the presidency, sorry, my dear, sorry, you have 18 parties.
Yes.
And they are now bringing in the presidency. You are saying, what you are indirectly saying is that president, let's be elaborate with information. President directed the police and the army to stop Rotimi Amechi and others from coming into...
No.
Speculatively,
we're working on allegations now.
President has directed the police to stop Amechi because he wants to favor PDP.
That's his impression.
That's the impression the information is creating. Abi? Now, there are other parties involved, 18 other political parties. Imagine where all of them are bringing governors that are sentimental to their cause. The neighbor of Ekiti is Ondo, and he's a Labour Party person. The Labour Party could have brought him. You understand? There are other parties involved, including our Accord Party and co, who are fielding candidates. You have a montage of them. Imagine where all of them decide to bring all these people. How would Ekiti be?
Now the issue is even the timing. You see, last month, APC had a mega rally in Ekiti where the incumbent was officially presented as a candidate of the party for this governorship election. These governors that we are talking about, they had the opportunity to do everything.
They were there.
They were there.
They were there. They were not present. You didn't note that they were not presented.
Now we have said that if it is a very volatile state, we know what has been happening in Ekiti in the last 2-3 weeks. Is it what they would have done yesterday that will swing the vote in favor? I believe an average majority of the Ekiti people have made up their mind even before yesterday.
Indeed.
Why were they? Why must they go to Ekiti yesterday?
A similar threat in Anambra, a similar threat in Edo. You understand? It's more like it's a good way of showmanship.
The candidate has a structure. The incumbent governor, the candidate of the party, has a structure on ground in Ekiti, and is very familiar with Ekiti more than these governors. The campaign organization is there. The party is there in the state. The same goes for all the other 17 candidates. You do not need to bring or import governors to come and campaign for you 24 hours, 48 hours of the election. What new thing are they going to tell the Ekiti people? And you also know that some of these governors have issues in their state. We know what is happening in Edo State, for instance, where the political heavyweight, the leading light of the opposition in Ekiti area, it's fractionalized. It's fractionalized. Chief Tommy Kimi and the Governor Chomale, they are not good terms. They are not. We also know what is happening in River State presently. And then the issue of the emirship thing in Kano State. These are the governors that were coming to Ekiti yesterday to campaign. Well, I see them as busybodies. They have work to do in their state.
You will say to the fact that it is not a correct move.
Well, not correct. I don't agree with it. It was political. Politically, it was political miscalculation.
For me,
and they were just trying to play on the emotions of the people.
For me, fame or notoriety is appropriate in politics. In everything,
but of course,
in communication, you understand. You either get attention through your notoriety or through your popularity. It's all how you handle it. It's a gimmick, but there are gimmicks that are cheap buys, and there are ones that are elaborate, enlightened buy. But where the problem is when the media falls on the flip side. The media is supposed to be the conscience of society. Do you understand? Whenever the media begin to appraise it from the angle of persecution, I begin to ask, what about the angle of safety? What about the angle of law? If they appraise it from the angle of security or the angle of law, I say, what about the angle? What about the angle of campaign? The media is supposed to be on the fence and begin to appraise people who should articulate these issues, and that is one danger we have in our society. People who articulate issues for us are not even as informed as the mundane people, the thugs and the riffraffs who don't understand the issue. When you elevate people who don't understand issues as people who articulate issues, we have a largely uninformed society. And that uninformed society begins to bandy ideas, and what you throw up often begins to influence society. We should articulate this, and why are these people coming? Were these not the people we saw about 3 weeks ago who were with them? What did they forget to say 2-3 weeks ago, that they are coming to say 24 hours to the election? What could be the aftermath of what they are doing? What if you go in with 100 persons in your entourage and you live with 50 persons? What would the 50 persons be doing within? You had the governor of Anambra State, the past governor of Anambra State, say that over his dead body, Peter Obi then, he said over his dead body would El Rufai leave this hotel. By the way, he didn't even know how he came into the hotel in Oka. And then, while he was saying it, his men were also stopping Aregbesola from coming from the border of, you want to go to Anambra, you're coming through Imo. You understand? When you are supposed to go through Asaba and Onitsha and come, he said you are not going to come, and they caught many of them in their buses, stopped their buses in Owerri. You see, there are the society. When we claim that our society is unsafe, is because those of us who should have known, we know and we deliberately keep it unsafe because it pays us. And when we come out on air as people who they call public affairs analysis, let us be public and let us be very, very, very articulate in what we say. Things that burn us, we should throw it away. You don't light a candle and put it near your skin and you say, it's hurting me. We are deliberately touching the society because there are many people who are looking for elaborate, informed information from you. I purposely use that tautology. Inform the information. There are people who are looking for articulation of our situation so that we'll find our way out of the wood. These are some of the antics of politicians that is tolerable in politics, but it is not tolerable in an enlightened society that the people who are enlightened, who articulate it, should dwell on. And let the politicians know that we have gone beyond Babylon. Thank you.
So, in essence, we say to the public that we, the Nigerians, have come of age. So
we have gone beyond that level of politics.
Politicians cannot just bamboozle us. Let's use that commonality of language.
Sheyi, I can come to your studio if I want people to watch this program as part of laws of information. While on your set, I can undress myself. I can get naked and tell you the whole world will be watching. It's still notoriety, attracting attention.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
what will it do to the quality of ideas that society is projecting? I can decide as I'm talking now to show that I am empathy. I begin to weep. I begin to throw up. I begin to tear up all these things. That man is emotional. But what am I trying to show the young man, the child who is watching your television now? If somebody does not articulate this fairly enough for a more robust and more enlightened society, it continues. If you tolerate it in this program, the next person who is doing another digest or a similar program will employ it. You understand? We are the architects of what we are doing. This kind of politics, we say politics are gone beyond the shenanigans, beyond these Second Republic antics.
Okay.
Where people use cudgels and machetes and they vote. In some African countries, even now, if you go to places like Congo, Kenya, Central African Republic, even there, they say, okay, there was a time, one of the campaigns, he said, okay, since they are going to vote, it was in Zimbabwe, since people are going to vote with their thumbs, then people went with machetes and cut off their thumbs.
Yeah.
It is a way of stopping them from voting. Since you are going to vote for your thumb, when they catch you, the mobs catch you, and they cut off your thumb. So let's see how you want to vote. Is that tolerable? Is that ethically what you should? You as a journalist, would you accept it? We should allow the man in Rivers. Let me even be more overt. Wait, let me not start talking with the man in Rivers who is going to Ekiti. What concern of the man who voted him in Rivers is of paramount to him there in what is happening in Ekiti?
So he should have been in his state.
He should be in his state.
Taking care of it.
Because if you want
Did the people ask that question? Those people who voted?
No.
This is what we're saying.
We are the ones who will ask the question. We are the ones who should ask the question.
All right. Now we're asking the question. We, the people, are not asking our politicians, Ogasa, why? Why do we need to do this? These are some of the issues we are battling with here. Are the people more sensitized? Are the people more informed to say we can really do and stop our politicians from going beyond because we are no longer as it used to be?
Is what platform?
Ask the question, sir.
What platform?
Ask the question about political enlightenment, and I told it's beyond INEC. INEC is about just a poll. POLL.
Just electoral empire.
You understand? The political enlightenment that you're asking should start from, I said, states, parties, campaign organizations, including your schools when they teach you about government, institutions, about democracy, about political organization. Politics is about quest.
Let's hold you there. Yes, Tubosu.
I was talking about platform. That the people in Rivers should hold the governor responsible or accountable. But we know that Rivers, as it were now, is heavily polarized.
let's not deviate from Ekiti, because these are the people
we were
will
talking
say,
about governors being stopped from entering.
Yes. No, the
issue.
issue in Rivers is another day's matter. I mean, Amechi
yeah,
will come to wrestle with that in due course. Let's put it that way. But in Ekiti, here we are. We've had all the rallies, and all this is going on. We call it federal might. People see it suggestively as, is there a situation where we are being prevented? Because there are insinuations now saying that all of this security apparatus is to prevent we, the people in Ekiti, from coming out to vote, as we ought to.
No, I don't want to believe that. Now, as at today, I don't think there is anything to show that the people who are presently, because I believe Ekiti people want to vote tomorrow, and they should be there now. They should be there now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really expecting anybody traveling from anywhere
from Lagos to Ekiti, for instance,
wherever. Now, do we have anything on ground in Ekiti now that suggests that the federal government or whoever is trying to deter people from exercising their vote? I believe most of the things that we have on ground, security-wise in Ekiti now, are largely caused by most of the things that have been reported and said. Utterances of politicians, what the media has been reporting, and so on and so forth. So government does not want to fold its arm, I believe. Government is trying to be preemptive and proactive. So we will begin to say, oh, it is the federal government is trying to discourage people in a particular place who are favorably disposed towards voting for a particular candidate from voting in order to help another candidate. When tomorrow we hear cases of late accreditation, late arrival of materials in this particular area where social party is strong, while in other areas we have cases of early arrivals of election materials, early accreditation, and so on and so forth. That is when we get to the field tomorrow. But as at now, I think government has done what it should do to provide the enabling environment for people to come out and vote tomorrow. I do not really see I don't want to subscribe to the idea that the federal government or federal might is being used to favor a particular candidate against the other, security-wise now. Now, you also know, of course, that it is possible for there to be influx of people from neighboring states into Ekiti between maybe yesterday and tomorrow. And so you need to guard, you need to put troops on ground, you need to put soldiers at strategic locations to ensure that there is no such unusual influx of people. That's what he said, that I think it's the publicity secretary of a particular political party that said that while these governors were being prevented from entering Ekiti, serving ministers were allowed. For instance, Minister of Defense and Minister of Police Affairs.
That's in the last two days or so.
Yes. Now I now ask that as a federal minister in charge of police affairs, you are a federal officer, official of government. Your constituency is the whole country. And with what is happening in Ekiti tomorrow, I do not see anything wrong in a federal minister of police affairs moving into Ekiti to supervise police activities or police work, or to add his own to whatever the IG and the commissioner of police in that state might have done so far and may still do. The same thing applies to the Minister of Defense. These are federal functionaries whose constituency is the whole country. Now, but for the governors, there is no party, there is no social party coming up in Ekiti tomorrow. And for God's sake, they have their own constituency. They have states where people in those states have voted for them. They have issues on ground that they should be there to address. Like he said, Mr. CHUKA said earlier on, they were at this mega rally of the APC in May, where they had all the ample opportunity to do whatever and say whatever they should have, they would have wanted to say. You don't need to wait till 48 hours to election to be. Eventually, they couldn't make it, but the rally still went on. Who the people want to see now is their candidate, not foreigners from other lands, from other states. What would they have said to the Ekiti people at that rally yesterday that the candidate of the APC has not said before? They just wanted to show their face. And we have said earlier on that cases of violence have been reported in Ekiti. People have been killed, properties have been vandalized and destroyed. Being there yesterday will have added more to this. They are overeating the polity. But you know, the way some section of the media have been reporting this thing does not portray objectivity. And he was talking from the angle of objectivity earlier on. We need to be objective. We need to bring this issue to the front burner. We shouldn't bring sentiment into this. As far as I'm concerned, I see it as political miscalculation and an exercise in political futility in trying to go there yesterday. Those governors going there on Thursday when the election is on Saturday. I don't see any. How many governors of the PDP? How many governors of the PDP have we seen in Ekiti in the last 1 week?
Well, that took place.
How many of them have we seen in the last 1 week? Apart from the last mega rally that the president himself anchored on behalf of the candidate of the PDP. How many governors of the ruling PDP from anywhere in Nigeria have we seen in the Ekiti campaigning for the candidate of that party in Ekiti in the last 1 week?
Ekiti has this history of drawing the attention of the whole nation. We have histories of elections. Ekiti seems to be different among the 36 states we have in the country. One would think, why is Ekiti election this fierce? It's not very... The peculiarity of Ekiti State. You mentioned it when we started that Ekiti has this peculiarity when it comes to, when we're talking about the troops being sent to Ekiti. Why? It's low in oil, it has low income, and
Ekiti from records, I think should have one of the most largest enlightened and educated people from this part of the country. We are talking of the Alukus, we are talking of the Afe Babalolas, and so on and so forth. And then the Ekiti also have this culture of hating cheating. They hate cheating.
Being cheated.
They hate it. And aside from that, let us look at the history of old Ondo State, where Ekiti was carved out from. In the days of the real progressives, if I had to use that, the adjacents, the UPN, the AGs. You know what happened, for instance, in the Second Republic between 1979 and 1983, between the core progressive and the core moderate or core conservative. I'm talking of the arrowhead now of the progressive in the old Ondo State, late Michael Jackson, and then the Akemoborios. And that is still being played out today. But I thank God that at the end of it all, the three main gladiators in this election, they have not really disappointed in terms of intellectual acumen, in terms of charisma, in terms of eloquence, and so on and so forth. The three leading candidates, they have not disappointed. As you know, unlike in some other states where when you have candidates, you begin to wonder what kind of caliber of candidate are these. Now, there is no way we can divorce this from the build-up to 2015 election.
Indeed.
I've said on this program before that the president knows quite all right that he will have problems in the north in 2015. He will have serious problems of marketability in the north. Now, to cancel out the losses that he may have in the north, he needs the southwest. And you know, as at today, the states in the southwest are in the hand of the opposition. So the president really needs the southwest to add to whatever we're going to get in the south and southeast in order to cancel out any loss or the losses that he may have in the north. Now the APC itself knows that the president is strong in the south, in the southeast, and in the north central, and they do not want to lose any part of the southwest, because they know they are making some inroad in the north, not the east and not west. So these are some of the permutations and political calculations that these parties are doing, the PDP and the APC.
Well, I thank you for the speculative analysis, but I mean, towards 2015, CHUKA, what does Ekiti portend? Very quickly.
Ekiti, like I said, every state is important, but one thing is, it's unfortunate that it has gone this way, since I made it a personal campaign, and through a small organization that I run, social organization I run. Since 2011, I have been asking people, keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on Nigeria development. Let's not talk about 2015. It's still far ahead. Let's get the quality of governance we voted for these 4 years, or at least 3 years of it. But I was not successful in that campaign. Everybody had dwelled so much 2015, so much on 2015.
Because that's what we get to hear.
And
that is what is
eventually we have lost governance. We have lost even peace. And we are losing even more things that we should have at least gotten from state government, from local government, and from federal government. Ekiti is also important because it is a state. Ekiti is also important because I was chuckling when you were saying, why is Ekiti so important? I wanted to know one thing. Go and take a record of places where you have strong human resource base. In academics, in the press, in
we have to round up now.
In the corporate sector.
Yes.
Any place you have most of them coming from, like in Anambra, like in Imo, like in Ogun State, like in Ekiti State, like in Ondo State. Those places are difficult because it is not the issue happening there. It's not about the resource you get there. It's about the noise they will make, people from that area will make in the vital sector, like in Lagos Press or Abuja Press.
I want to thank you indeed. I want to thank you indeed, CHUKA NNABUIFE, for being our guest, as well as Tubosun Ihonsu for being here today. We are looking at Ekiti, and tomorrow is the D-Day. Well, on this station, we are with you live from Ekiti.
From 8 o'clock in the morning till evening.
Until close. They're not even closing because elections would have taken place. And all through the night, we will be there giving you footages of what is going on around in Ekiti, in various areas. And of course, Sunday, we are here. It's a 24-hour news station, and you know we will not disappoint you. Give us a try.
We must apologize that we could not take your comments today. It was due to poor internet access today, and we sure will take your comments tomorrow. Even if it's not going to be on Facebook alone or Twitter, we have our number ready where you can call in live into the studio, and it will be good if you take it down now. And tomorrow, well, we'll still give it to you, but now will be better. 0163103228. I'll go over it again. 0163103228.
That is if you're calling out from outside Lagos. Yes. 01 is the code area. But indeed, get to us and we'll be glad you are with us. And of course, you've been able to partake in all of what we're doing here. Thank you very much for being with us on Core Digest this morning. God bless you.
Come June 21, it will be decision day for the people of Ekiti. 18 candidates are gunning for one seat.
I am the next governor of Ekiti.
But the people will have the final say.
I know that tolerance has a very big place.
Join extensive coverage of the election and get up to the many details as development unfolds.
I'm the voice of the Ekiti people.
With expert analysis from the best political team on television.
And that's honesty of INEC. Without
Join us all day June 21 to find out who emerges the next governor of Ekiti State.
We have agreed to move this state forward.
Keep a date with us on Core TV News. You can also watch us live on our website on www.coretvnews.com, a 24-hour news station.